boys and girls, and welcome back to art. This week we are creating our clay creation using Model Magic. We can open this by either tearing it, or if you have a hard time, you can grab a pair of scissors and carefully cut across the top and gently tear along that back edge. Today we are creating a dragon for our clay project. So the first thing that we need is we need to tear off some of our clay. We want most of the clay to be for the body, and then the other piece of clay is going to be for the details. We can also add details by using a pencil or a plastic fork, or both. I'm making sure that I have all my materials on a black mat so that you can see mine clearly. You can use any construction paper or piece of paper for your mat if that's something that you want to do. That way you don't make a mess on your table. So you're going to take your clay piece, and this is my extra, and you're going to make the body for your dragon, and it's going to be a Chinese dragon, so it's going to have more like a snake like body. So we're going to make a coil for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is take it in the palm of my hand and press it, and then I'm going to turn it and press it and turn it and press it so it gets to be this long column. And next I'm going to start rolling it back and forth in the palm of my hand. I'm holding the mat down with one hand on the side so that way the mat doesn't move around. I want to make sure that my dragon's body is nice and big and also long. We want to make sure that it's pretty thick for the clay piece. And towards the tail, we might want to taper it off a little bit so it's a little thinner on one side, on one end, and then thicker in the body. So it looks a lot like a snake right now. You can see how I'm starting to make that tail into a little point at the end. And I think that's a nice long body. So it's about the size of my hand and my fingers on the other hand. That's as long as our clay dragon's body is. So all of my hand and my fingers on one side and my fingers on the other hand. So once we have it as long as we want it, we're gonna take our clay, and I'm gonna hold on to, this is his head, I'm gonna hold on to this part, and I'm gonna turn the body down, and it just needs to go about, let's say, your finger's length down. And then you're going to take that and you're going to wrap it around your finger and press the top together. And then the bottom is going to come down, and then the last bit is going to just kind of sit on top. And we're going to try to make it so that our dragon can stand up. So we want to make sure that we add some feet. So that's why we have this extra clay that we pulled off here. We're going to take a little piece of clay about the size of a peanut, or a pea, and we're going to press down between our fingers, and then we're going to gently tap that little bit that touches the ground to the edge of our mat. And that's going to make a nice little foot that can attach to the side of the dragon's body. And we're going to make 4 of those. So right now I just have 1, and he's not really able to stand up with only 1 foot. So we want to make sure we make 3 more feet. Roll, press and flatten, and then flatten that edge to the table. And here we have our second foot, and now he is able to stand up, but we still need his little hands on the front. So roll that clay, press and flatten, place it on the front, and one more to really gain that stability for our clay dragon. press it, pinch it flat, press it against the table, and attach. So now he's got 4 little feet to help him attach so that he can stand up. Now we want to make sure that we can give our dragon some nice details. So the first thing we want to do, I'm going to use my fork, and I'm going to use the end of my fork, and I'm going to press it inside towards the center, and it's going to create an opening for his mouth. So you see his top lip and his bottom lip or jaw. So now he's got a little mouth created there. And what I can do next is I can give him a little piece and roll it into a coil and give him a nice tongue that's sticking out. I can also take off little pieces, and I can give him some fangs coming from the top of his mouth. And this might be too big, so I want to make sure I roll it and pinch the top to create a nice little fang on the other side that fits nicely in his mouth and isn't too big. So he's starting to get some fangs in there for his jaws. And then we can add other details. We can add little spikes. If you have enough, you can add little wings if you want to. However you want to decorate your dragon. So I'm going to add little spikes. So I'm making coils and then kind of bending them and pinching them at the top so they have this like kind of cone shape or cylindrical shape with a little point at the top. That would be a cone. Pressing. And I can tap at the bottom, so make that bottom flat so it presses against the top of that really well and holds on there nice and tightly. I'm just going to keep adding spikes to the back of my dragon. Little pieces of clay that I can roll and create little triangles and attach. And that's the one nice thing about Model Magic, along with lots of other things. It's really easy to attach different pieces of clay together. It sticks really nicely. I'm going to do one more spike on his tail. Maybe he needs some littler spikes. Doesn't look quite right. Some small spike. One more little teeny tiny spike. Right at the bottom. All right, now we can add other details. We can give him little claws if we want. So little lines that are little triangles coming out of his toes. So we have some claws on that side. Some claws on the other side. To do that to those back feet too. So 3 and 3. 6 little claws. And then once we have that, we can use our pencil to place some little eyes on either side of his head. And we can even put little nostrils at the top. We can use our fork to make little scales So you can add little patterns on your dragon. And the other side. So whatever pattern you do on one side, you need to make sure you do on the other side. It is a two-sided dragon. And there we have a really awesome clay dragon that we made out of model magic. And what you can do next, just adding some more designs, what you can do next is wait for it to dry, and then you can get some watercolor paint and you can paint it all nice and brightly, however you want to decorate your dragon. I hope that you enjoyed creating your model magic dragon with me today. I can't wait to see these creations. We'll see you next time.